Yes, thank you. Is it working? Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm a bit nervous because I'm the first speaker, of course, and also because I'm announcing the end of management. So I hope you help me a little bit. I understand that if you get positive feedback, so when people nod, that helps to fight the nerves. Thank you very much for inviting me and to give me the opportunity to talk about a subject that really intrigues me, and it has to do with organizations, or should I say organizing, because organizing is an activity and the organization is only the temporary result of that activity. The organization is a means to an end and not the end in itself. And we are a lot in organizations, we're a lot busy with keeping the organization intact. And I think we need new ideas to organize work, to organize your societies, to face the challenges of our times. Unfortunately, enough people are very good at that activity. We are constantly organizing ourselves, our lives, our societies, our neighborhoods, and we like to work together in that. And by working together, we achieve the most amazing goals, like slaying a mammoth, for example, in prehistoric times, and in our times, flying to the moon and maybe soon to Mars. The humankind is a very productive and creative species who like to work together to achieve higher purposes and the most amazing things. But this willingness to work together has come under fire by the emphasis on another side in human nature, which is our egocentric or selfish side. Besides from being a social animal, we are also always looking for the best opportunity for ourselves in every situation. And especially in our neoliberal societies, this side has been emphasized to the extreme, with a devastating effect on our willingness to work together. To put it simply, Barcelona plays tonight. Who has any tickets for me? Maybe? No? But Barcelona plays tonight against Bayern. If a football player on the Barcelona team gets €500,000 for every goal he scores, he will never pass the ball to one of his teammates. Yeah, maybe Messi, because he scores enough. And we see the same happening in organizations where the game no longer exists of working together for a higher purpose, but especially for the stockholders and the career of the managers. And we created these pyramids where there's a CEO, someone in the top, and a hierarchy of a lot of managers who want to get CEO, get up the ladder. And at the bottom of the organization, we find the ordinary people, the people who really do the work. And I think we need new ideas to organize this. And I think we can get rid of the manager. One example in the Netherlands we have, and it's for me it's a very inspiring example, is Buurtzorg, which is a company active in the home care in the Netherlands. Home care was privatized about 20 years ago, and there came all these companies who had to compete with each other. So what they did, they hired managers to make, and they installed departments and to make the organization as efficient as possible. And they divided the work of the nurses into different tasks, and the easy tasks were assigned to lower skilled and thus lower paid nurses. And only the complicated tasks would be left over to higher educated people. And these tasks had to be coordinated. So then also the nurses who had a higher education had to coordinate all these different tasks, and they found themselves behind a desk for more than half of their time at work. And there was a nurse, a male nurse, it happens, Jos de Blok, and he started a new company, and he organized the work into teams of 10, 12 nurses. And these nurses, they organize their work completely by themselves. There are no managers anymore, so they take care of the schedules for the nurses. They take care of finding clients for the company, and they work in these neighborhoods. And a lot of nurses really would like to come to work for buurtzorg. And they have a minimum of overhead, only 30 people working at the head office for a company of 9,000 people. So they are, compared with other home care companies, they are about 30% less expensive than the other companies. Also because they have in mind also always the purpose of what is good care. That is to help people to become self-reliant as soon as possible. And that's a completely different way of looking at it than when you think about the interest of the company. Then you want to stay as long as possible with the client. So I think what does buurtzorg teaches us? I think it gives us new ideas how to organize in the future, and interestingly enough, by grabbing back for partly to old ideas that existed for a long time. And one of these ideas is the idea of self-management. People, professionals, but also workers or cleaners or nurses are very capable of organizing their own work. They don't need a manager to do that for them. That's my belief. More strongly, when you have a manager who tells people what to do, then you see people becoming apathetic and hesitant. As a former director of 3M used to say, Mr. William McKnight, if you put fences around people, you get sheep. Then people do exactly what you tell them to do, but nothing more. Or they start thinking of reasons why they shouldn't do it. And that's the stultifying effect management has on people. The second idea I think buurtzorg teaches us is that if you keep things simple, you become much more effective. You should start always with the purpose of what you want to achieve. With, as Simon Sinek says, start with why and build from there your organization. What do you really need to achieve that purpose? And leave the rest out. And if you do that, you not only get happy customers, but also happy employees and a more effective organization. And the third thing I think buurtzorg teaches us is the opposite of the second thing, that we make things too complicated in most organizations. The moment you build hierarchies, the moment you build pyramids, you get a lot of hassle in organizations because everyone wants to move up the ladder and become a manager or maybe CEO. So what do people do? They start withholding information from each other. They spend a lot of time with useless and endless meetings. What I see, that most organizations, they completely lost track of the purpose they were started with in the beginning, and employees being busier with each other than with the client. So what should we do? I think we should start reinventing organizations, which is the title of a recent book of the Belgian consultant Frédéric Laloux. He also describes buurtzorg. I think we should start at the beginning, at the purpose of what we really want to achieve, and find simple but effective ways to organize that. I also think that we should pay the people who do the actual work, the professionals and the workers and the cleaners and the nurses and the school teachers. We should pay them more respect and a higher percentage of the profits. And I think we should make the manager less important and a lower paid job than it is now, because that's the only way to get to make it less interesting for young people like you to become a manager. That's how it works. And I realize that a lot of you young people are manager or will become manager in the future. And I don't want to be a spoilsport by taking away this bright future for you. But I do think that the organization does not exist for the glory and the career of the manager. It is a tool to achieve a certain purpose. And the people who are closest to that purpose should be supported by the organization and not the other way around. So I hope you will be the leaders who will lead our organizations into the next era. One way to do it, I think, is every time you sit at a meeting or you have to take a decision on whatever, you have to ask yourself the question, does what I'm doing here help the people who are doing the actual job? Is it supportive? Is it helpful for them? If the answer is yes, do it, go on with it and try to get more of it. And if the answer is no, stop it and do only the things that are really helpful and are really meaningful, also in your lives, I would say. I thank you. I wish you best of luck.